everybody. Welcome. Ginetta Vendetta here. Woohoo! Hot time in the city. Welcome. Ginetta Vendetta here. Cool Jazz Live with the Masters. Yeah, Cool Jazz Live from New York City. Chateauguay, 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 Chateauguay. Okay, there you go. Hey, everybody. Check it out. Woohoo! Hi. Let me turn around so you can see the hairdo. You know, this is always a veritable challenge. But yesterday I had my hair out and I was like, heck no, because it was so hot. And I have the window shut because of the sound factor. Anyway, welcome to my favorite beautiful show. We are on 10 weeks now, y'all. It is our 10th week. March 21st is when I started these wonderful live streams. And it is now June 4th. And I welcome all to the fabulous Cool Jazz, y'all. And I am going to kick it off with just a beautiful classic. Hi, Lily. Welcome, girl. Woohoo! Beautiful day. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, Lily. Hi, baby girl. Okay, well, guess what? My girlfriend, Queenie Lorraine, who is from South Africa, reminded me about a fabulous trumpet player. Hey, girl. Thank you, sweetheart. Nice and cool. You're right, Lily. I had my hair out yesterday, and I was heck no, man, because it's like 100 degrees in here, girlfriend. Anyway, it's nice and hot in Manhattan. It's about 82. So, okay, my girlfriend yesterday, who is from South Africa, and her mother played with this fabulous trumpet player named Hugh Masekela. So I promised that I would mention the fabulous South African trumpet player, Hugh Masekela. Hi, Christoph. Nice to see you, baby. Welcome. I'm going to kick it off with a swinging tune by the fabulous South African trumpet player, Hugh Masekela. This is his biggest hit from 1968. Hi, Mickey. It's called Grazing in the Grass, y'all. So welcome. Hugh Masekela, who I promised Lorraine yesterday I was going to play one of his biggest hits. Actually, his biggest hit here in America, 1968, a tune called Grazing in the Grass. Let me tell you about this fabulous trumpet player, Hugh Masekela. Hugh Ramapolo Masekela, born in South Africa in one of the, during apartheid. And check it out, man. He was well known for his jazz compositions, many of which are still being played today. But he was also very famous for his anti-apartheid songs. He was a massive star in Africa. And you know how he got his start? Amazingly enough, he come from a very, very poor area, probably Sophia Town, as we mentioned. It wasn't Sophia Town, but it was one of those very poor areas in South Africa. And he got his trumpet through the Archbishop, I wrote his name down. The Archbishop's name was called Trevor Huddleston. He was an anti-apartheid chaplain in the church. And he gave this guy a trumpet, and Hugh Masekela, again, took this horn, much like Louis Armstrong, from really impoverished childhood, took the horn, was so good at it that he was encouraged. All his other friends wanted to play as well, and so they created the first jazz youth band in South Africa ever in existence, okay? And guess what? Here's another amazing serendipitous connection. Louis Armstrong, so Hugh Masekela, wait a minute, he was born 1939 to 2018. So we're talking 1950, 1949, 1950 when he's a kid, 1955, 1960. Who sent him his first horn? Louis Armstrong. When Louis Armstrong heard that this young man actually created the first jazz youth orchestra, Louis Armstrong sent him a trumpet. How did he know about Hugh Masekela? Because Louis Armstrong and the Archbishop Huddleston were very well connected. Why? Because Louis Armstrong was a world-traveled, world-famous trumpet player. And I just love the fact that whoever, all of these men started out by somebody giving them a horn or encouraging them to have some music. And honest to goodness, what a path and what a beacon of light and hope. And this guy, Hugh Masekela, really just an amazing guy, fighting for freedom, really, in his country, and just became a massive star. He had an amazing life, Finally came to New York City, went to the New York School of Music for a while, hung out, and just, really his trajectory was like this. In 1968, this massive song, Grazing in the Grass, was a #1 pop hit, man. And then from there on, he worked closely with the fabulous African singer Miriam Makeba, and they were married for a very short time. But anyway, that was the fabulous Hugh Masekela. So if you're ever interested in any of these amazing men and women that I mentioned, yeah, really, just Google them, man, because they have reams of discographies, meaning hundreds and hundreds. Okay, so here's another tune. I've curated a great show for you guys. Welcome to Thursday. Things are settling down here in New York City. Give thanks for that, man. A lot of sirens last night and fire engines, but you know what? I think it's calming down. I'm hoping anyway. Oh, and I drove around today. I drove uptown to visit my baby, my boyfriend. Hey, Laura G. Hi, baby girl. Hi. And a lot of things shuttered. And I said to one guy, I stopped for a moment to a man who was actually painting all the wood because everyone's boarded up their stores. And I said, the only people actually benefiting from these terrible times is the lumber company. Because I got to make light of it because it's so terrible to see, massive avenues all boarded up. It's very unnerving. But anyway, so I drove around and hopefully things are getting back to normal soon. Okay, anyway, I digress. Here I go. I want to play you another killing tune. I didn't introduce you to the fabulous Dizzy Gillespie yet. Want to play his original composition, which I always said that it's called A Night in Tunisia. You heard it the other night with Doc Severinsen, but I want you to hear from the original composer of this tune. And guess what? I always said I was under the impression that it was written on the back of a cocktail napkin. Dizzy Gillespie said he wrote it on the piano at a joint called Kelly's Stables, which was one of the dozens of nightclubs on 52nd Street. Who knew? Okay, so here we go. You're going to listen to Dizzy Gillespie with a big band playing his most famous composition. I don't know if you know about Dizzy Gillespie, man. Really just the greatest guy. I got to meet him. An amazing, funny guy. Woo! Oh, shoot. This isn't his most famous composition. This is a tune called Manteca. Come on, y'all. Woo! tell you a little about Dizzy while this is going on. Here he is. Listen to Dizzy. He was born in 1917, and guess what? The youngest of 9 kids, just like me, y'all. What? I don't know if y'all even know that. I am the youngest of 9 kids. And Dizzy Gillespie and his friend Chano Pozo, a conguero, were directly responsible for the explosion of Afro-Cuban jazz in the late 50s, y'all. This is Candido, who was obviously a student of Chano Pozo, he predated him a little bit. You heard a little bit of Dizzy Gillespie. But Dizzy John Burks Gillespie, also known as Dizzy. Why? because of it is his ebullient personality and he always made silly jokes, and he was a real cut up on stage. So folks just took to calling him Dizzy. And also the fact his cheeks puffed out unbelievably. But he also had the most amazing, his sound was never ever to be repeated until this young man called John Faddis emulated him perfectly. So everywhere Dizzy went in the late 60s, in the late 70s and 80s, John Faddis would go, because he was basically the reigning, the prince, the guy who was going to take over the mantle and the musical style of Dizzy Gillespie. And John Faddis, guess what? I met him when he was very young too. This was when I was a kid, because my dad used to sneak me into those clubs. Hey, Derek, those clubs on 52nd Street. When I was a kid, and I met John Faddis, I met Dizzy Gillespie, and Dizzy was so sweet. And I'll tell you, I used a line. This is how instrumental he was, and how he made such an impression on me. Not just musically. Hi, Anthony Ruben Velasquez Lugo. How are you, baby? Hope you're keeping your spirits up. It's been a tough weekend, y'all, but we're okay now. Thank you for joining me, Anthony. Check it out. So when I was a kid, maybe 10, 11, I went to see Dizzy, and he was so amazing. And as I said, it wasn't just his musicality that impressed me, but rather his joy and his sense of humor. He was hysterical, and I stole something from him that I've been using ever since. It just cracked me up. So every time I'm on the bandstand, you know how the band leaders say, I want to introduce the band? Well, what Dizzy did, he said, okay, now it's time to introduce the band, and he introduced them to each other. I still do that to this day. I just think that's the silliest gag. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, Anthony. So every time I'm on the bandstand and I introduce the band, I start by introducing the guitar player to the bass player or something. But anyway, it always gets a good laugh. And I took that from Dizzy Gillespie, what, 35, 40 years ago now? Yeah. Anyway, so you were listening to the fabulous Dizzy Gillespie and his amazing protege. I also wanted to play something. This is a beautiful backing version of something called Black Orpheus, because I had a request. Thank you, Afshan, again for your wonderful donation last night. And I know you requested some beautiful bossa nova, so I would like to play a beautiful version of Black Orpheus. I have a beautiful backing track. And so this is for Afshan and all the rest of you guys, because it is Trumpet Week. So who better to feature besides Dizzy Gillespie, Hugh Masekela, Miles Davis, and various sundry trumpet players than me? What do you think of that? Okay, let's see what we got. Thank you so very much, everybody. A beautiful tune by special request, but that was for Afshan. Thank you so very much, everybody. This is Welcome to Trumpet Week, y'all. You've heard, woohoo! Thank you, sweetheart. Hi, Zusha. I hope you're okay, baby girl. New York's been going a little crazy, girlfriend. But guess what? I'm right across from Los Angeles. Everybody's okay over there. So hopefully our block is very blessed and safe. Brazil, hello, Christophe. That's right, we're doing a little bossa nova as per request by Afshan. And hey, nice to see you, Zusha. So everything's okay on our block. And you know what? I got to give kudos to the police because they stand right there all night long. And last night, it was pouring down, raining. I felt so bad for those guys. So I can see we're very blessed to be right next to a precinct. I believe that is why our block is fairly safe, because all around me as I drove around on the bike, I'm telling you, so we are very blessed, guys. Anyway, we're doing great. We're coming back. And you know what else I noticed as I was driving around? I noticed that New Yorkers, hey, baby girl. Thank you, Zusha. I'm glad you're okay, baby girl. Good for you. You know what I noticed too, Zusha? As always, what do New Yorkers do? We just get on up, man. We just get on up. Like everybody else, we just get back up on the horse, man. So today, even amidst everything being boarded up, people were busily walking and industriously, going to do stuff, cleaning, sweeping, and I thought, we're back, man. We're back, y'all. We are back. And may it be so for the rest of the country, man, and for the world. And may this be a wonderful time of change. Woohoo! Okay, guys, so enough of that preaching. You heard the fabulous John Burks Gillespie, also known as Dizzy Gillespie, the fabulous Hugh Masekela. We opened up with his massive 1968 hit, Grazing in the Grass. That's right. He was an amazing freedom fighter, and all the musicians are. And you know what? I just listened to my beautiful girlfriend, Melanie Schultz, who is from South Africa. She did a beautiful live stream today, speaking about the power of music. That's just what we're going to do. We're just going to keep on keeping on, y'all. I've been saying that for a while. So John Burks Gillespie, Dizzy, 1917 to 1993, youngest of 9 children, which I think is amazing, because so am I. I have a lot in common with all of these musicians. Remember? So, okay, let me try and get back to YouTube, because my band in a box has been acting a little dodgy, everybody. So I'm not really sure. Uh-oh, that's why I never sign out. Oh, geez. Okay, I'm just going to have to regale you with tales of, hold on, let's see what's going on. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing great. It is a beautiful night out here. It's like 80 degrees, and I love the heat. I just love the heat. I'm a hot weather person, y'all. I don't know if you know that, but okay. Here's another classic for you, and it is by the wonderful, who are we doing? Dizzy Gillespie. Oh, his most famous tune, again, I gave this big build-up, and I played the wrong song. I played you Manteca, which is a classic tune written by Chano Pozo. I want to tell you about Chano Pozo and the relationship with Dizzy Gillespie. Now, in the 40s and the 50s, Havana was the swingin'est town, man. The hotels were booming. All the gangsters would hang out there. The music was unbelievable. I mean, it was a serious tourist destination. Chano Pozo, unfortunately, because of his dark skin, in Cuba was not even allowed to play in certain venues. He could only play in what they deemed the slums. And because, can you imagine? Oh, obviously, what a silly thing to say. But anyway, okay, so this was back in the 40s. Chano Pozo, he actually just took his congas and was playing in front of one of the radio stations. And a friend of his, another Cuban, a sax player, Mario Bauza, encouraged him to come to America. Well, don't you know, Mario Bauza introduced Chano Pozo to Dizzy Gillespie, and between them, they absolutely, Afro-Cuban jazz, which was veritably unheard of, became a massive mainstream hit. Just amazing stories. I mean, these men and women come from barely nothing. It is just their absolute indomitable spirit that gets them to where they're going. And that is why I am continuing to do this live stream, regardless of everything going on around me. Hey, B, where you been, brother? I'm doing great. I'm just talking about a fabulous Cuban expat, Chano Pozo, a conguero, who was intimately acquainted with Dizzy Gillespie, and his friend Mario Bauza, a great saxophonist and vocalist. Also, we spoke about Hugh Masekela. All of these men and women who, really were freedom fighters in their own way. And that's what we will continue to be, okay? Anyway, hi, C. Kelly Wright. Where you been, girl? No jazz up in Harlem, huh, baby girl? I'm sorry about that. We're having jazz right down here, baby. in Chelsea, amidst all the let's just say the chaos. Nice to see you, C. Kelly, baby girl. All right, so thank you for joining me. Just speaking about all the freedom fighters, I should say the musical freedom fighters. And anyway, I was telling you about the tune you already heard, Manteca. Now I want to tell you, I gave a big build up to the tune Night in Tunisia, which I'm going to play now, okay? And this is the fabulous Dizzy Gillespie's most famous recording. It's called Night in Tunisia. As I said, for years I've been saying, yeah, he wrote it on the back of a cocktail napkin in a speeding cab. Really? That is total myth, and it's totally not true. He actually wrote it on the piano at Kelly's Stables, which was yet one more of the clubs on 52nd Street. All right, here you go. And this is another version, not the original version. What am I looking for? A Night in Tunisia. And it's another swinging big band, y'all. Let me see what I got. Okay. Yeah. And so since you already heard A Night in Tunisia on Tuesday with the fabulous Doc Severinsen, check it out. Works. Amen, sister. Thank you. Jazz lives up there too. You're absolutely, jazz lives on. Of course it does, Kelly. absolute amazing range of the fabulous John Burks Gillespie. You listen to the fabulous Dizzy Gillespie, and you know what? Throughout the bop era, he was the most recognizable. Why? Because of his dark glasses, his beret, and his horn that turned up at a 45-degree angle. The story behind that, believe it or not, he had his horn on a trumpet stand. Now on the bandstand, there's a lot of stuff on the bandstand. I had a guitar player friend of mine. He's a great friend and we worked together for years. He was my guitar player. James T. Tilson. T always said, Ginetta, don't yank any wires on the bandstand because, you know, you can knock stuff over. Well, don't you know, allegedly, the way his horn got bent, it was on a trumpet stand, which is a small little holder for the horn. Somebody fell over the stand, the horn fell, clop, and it got bent up at a 45-degree angle. And do you know, Dizzy said, hey, I like that sound because the air and the notes go a little higher and wider. And so from there on out, he had every single horn. He had to have that first horn custom. And ultimately, when I was a kid, those horns were very special and expensive because actually there was, you know, every trumpet company always had a Dizzy Gillespie model, you know. I never went for that. But anyway, hi! Hi, Gabriella! How is it in Ahihik, young lady? How you doing, baby, with him still out of school? Are you going crazy yet? I'm so happy to see you here. Hey, I know it's not a great story. How Dizzy? Thanks, B. Hi, Mr. Griswold. Gabriella, I hope that your business is doing great. We are slowly opening up here, Gabriella, but then we got hit with, you know, the fires, the riots, the protests. But we're doing fine. Give thanks, we're okay, man. I'm so happy to see you all the way from Mexico. Diana's usually here, but she's not. But anyway, that is the story of Dizzy Gillespie's horn, and guess what? I think it's time for me to sing something. I want to sing a little something. Just amazing that I found out that Dizzy Gillespie is the youngest of 9 kids, and so am I. Okay, so we have a great singer on, Gabriela Martinez de Santiago, who is an amazing singer, and you stood in for me, right, on Friday, March 20th, because I had to leave the country, Gabriela. I was in Mexico during the start of the lockdown, and Gabriela and her husband owned one of the venues I was going to play at. But we had to get out by midnight Friday, Gabriela. I'm telling you, it was crazy, man. Anyway, Gabriela stood in for me, right? And your husband said you sang Misty in honor of me. Thank you, young lady. You did a great job. Anyway, I'm going to sing a beautiful tune by another musical freedom fighter. Her name is Etta James, dude. And you know Etta James, girl. She was way before all the other ones, man. She did her own serious freedom fighting musically because these men and women had serious challenges to overcome, serious obstacles to face, and they continued in the face of severe adversity to shine and entertain and bring joy and love and music. And you know what? I find being a musician is a very serious avocation. It's much like being, you know, taking a vow to the church. Okay, check out the beautiful new shoes, by the way. Nothing makes a girl happier during chaos. Hey, thank you, Tom, for posting my tip bucket, y'all. Come on now, don't be shy, everybody. You know what I used to say? Hola, mi vida. I always used to say, ante up, you chiselers. But right now, I'm just happy you guys are joining me. I used to do that in the clubs. And there's a club called Jules, and Zusha is the bartender. Zusha, and so when I would go around with the tip bucket, because the band leader has to walk around with their own bucket, we used to be very difficult for me, man. But then I just got in the habit, and I would always ask people, I would go to the table, and I would say, would you love to tip the band? I never said, would you like to tip the band? I'd always say, would you love to tip the band? And people actually responded to that in a very positive way, and they also got a chance to talk to me and the band leader, so it turned into sort of a cool vibe, you know? And guess what, Zusha? I'm booked for the 24th of June at Jules, but I doubt that's gonna happen. Girl, who knows? Fingers crossed, girlfriend. Okay, I was gonna sing a beautiful tune by Etta James. Here we go. And it is her most famous tune, and you're going to recognize this. I feel a little hoarse, but I'm going to try my best. Here we go. You're going to recognize it by the opening notes. This is called At Last, y'all. Hi, baby. It's a dress. It's a dress. Look at the shoes, Gabriella. Another classic by the other musical freedom fighter. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Hey, Gabriella. I got to tell you about Gabriella. Great singer, but also another shoe nut. And her and I are the exact same size. We're both like 5 feet tall, and we love these high heels. Gabriella, remember at 4, there was a venue. They owned another venue down in Mexico. And I think I borrowed your shoes, remember? Oh my God, we have the same size foot and the exact same taste in shoes. Anyway, Lily, thank you, sweetheart. You're so sweet. I'm so glad, Lily. We might have to do it for your birthday. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much. And guess what? I don't know let me see what time it is. 6:46. We got time for one more tune. And I'm so happy you guys joined me here for Trumpet Week. You got to hear Hugh Masekela, Dizzy Gillespie, the fabulous John Faddis. You've got to hear Ginetta Vendetta. All right, let's see what I got. I got to get back into my YouTube because I've curated a show, and I wanted to tell you all about the fabulous Hugh Masekela, which is such a fabulous guy. Now, let's see what else I got. I want to see, I have some other, let me see, what else did I have? Oh, this is a great tune. Now, this is going to be constituted, I wrote down the words, and I'm not sure where they went. Okay, hold on, guys. First of all, what I usually do before the end of the show is show you my website. So for all things Ginetta, everybody, go to the website, and you'll have some fun. You'll get to see some info and frequently asked questions, videos, and all kind of music. Okay, and that's that. And also, try to find the words for this next song. I wanted you to hear, because I wanted to play it last night. I introduced you last night to the godfather of the trumpet, Mr. Louis Armstrong. And so I'm going to do this tonight. This is called Ain't Misbehavin'. I hope I remember the words, y'all. And it is another classic written by Duke Ellington, also turned into a very famous Broadway play years ago. Ready? Ain't Misbehavin'. And we are featuring the fabulous godfather of jazz, y'all. It's just me and my radio. Ain't misbehavin'. I'm saving all my love for you, baby. Like that corner in a corner, I will stay here watching my hair, 'cause your kiss is all I really need. Woo! Girl, go baby, I say yeah, right here on my shoulder, saving all my love for you.
No one to talk with.
No one to talk with, by myself.
No one to walk with. I'm happy on the
I'm
shelf.
happy on the shelf.
Baby, save my love.
I'm saving all my love for you.
No say.
No,
What I
love.
do play me.
Baby,
Everything you know.
woo.
Misbehaving, saving my love. Like Jack Horner.
Like Jack Horner.
In the corner.
In the corner.
Don't go no.
I don't go anywhere. I don't
All
care.
your kisses.
'Cause your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me.
I don't stay out
I
late.
don't stay out
Don't
late.
get to go.
Don't care to go.
Nobody
I'm
be in the radio.
That's right.
I take it from me, y'all.
Thank you so very much, Bruce. I know. That is called Ain't Misbehaving. And you have heard some smoking trumpet players. You know what I'm saying? Killing, smoking, high screamers. And guess what? That's not me. I know, right, baby? Thank you, B. You're so sweet. Guys, it's time for me to say goodnight. And I'm so happy that you joined me. And each and every day gives me a reason to continue in my musical freedom fighter. And you know what? That's what I am too. And you guys are allowing me to do that and sharing and spreading the joy and the peace. And so thank you so very much, guys. Much love to all of you. If you feel the need to contribute, paypal.me/Ginetta's Vendetta, Venmo.com/Ginetta Sylvie. But I give thanks all the time for your very presence. Thank you, Anna. Love you all for joining me and supporting me and for us creating a sense of community all around the world so that we are not alone and we are all together in love and music. What do I always say? May we expect and receive only the best. Stay peaceful. Much love to all of you, and I will see you tomorrow night.